All right. Good morning. How is everybody today? Did you like that? I thought that was so cool. The little 30 minute, haha, the only 30-second warm up to let you know that I was on my way. So I am so glad you are here with us this morning, or maybe you're watching later on in the day, or maybe you might even be watching this tomorrow. So I don't know when you're watching, but really glad to have you come and stop in and be part of what's happening this morning. So I'm Delinda, live out here in Las Vegas. Most of y'all who are regulars know that already, but every so often as we go along, we're picking up some new people. So I thought I'd just put that out there. And this is Delinda and Friends Tuesday morning live show. And I'm not sure which of the friends we're going to have coming this morning. Lisa's not feeling very well, so she's not going to join us. Jen is like going crazy in her office this morning. It's really a great, exciting thing for her and her American Family business. And Laura is going to be here, I think, in just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead, of course, and get us started. What a couple new things that we are doing. So we did this maybe 2 years ago, and it was so much fun to pick a word. So every week we're going to have a word of the week. So like a wow, I love the word wow. Like everything's like, woo, exciting. We have our wow conference, which will be coming up. We're in the process of getting all of that lined up. So we'll be making announcements about that as it gets closer, but it will probably be after the first of the year. I'm thinking maybe February, March of 2023, because it will be a 2-day event, probably here in Las Vegas, but I'm leaving myself open to see if maybe something else opens up that might be even more exciting than Vegas. Then we also have just the regular thing. So if you are watching and you are not a part of Fun Fearless Female Global Community of Christian Women, I want to invite you to join us. We are on a march to 1,000 women, touching 1,000 women's lives by Easter. Now that's 2 weeks from now. And we are just right at that 950, I think maybe 948 or 949. And we've got a couple of weeks. So I really believe we can make it. And the whole thing is about how many women's lives can we touch to make better, to come together so we can share our lives and our business, more contacts, more ways to encourage and uplift each other, which is what this show is all about. And pretty much everything that I do is about that. So if you are not a member, I encourage you to join Fun Fearless Female. And, I have to figure out, give me a second as I look down, I'm going to get the link for that so that I can, if you are not a member, you could go and join that today and be part of our wonderful group. We have mentors that post things every day, some from our style and how we dress on Thursdays. And then we have our Words of Wisdom Wednesday with business tips and things like that as well. All right, so I have the link, and now I just need to go over here and put it in the comments for you. So here we go. Ta-ta, if you're not a member. And good morning, Emmalou. Yay. And Karen, yay. I'm so glad you're here. That's great. I wasn't able to see the comments there for a minute. Thank you, Emmalou. This is a great community. Thank you. I appreciate that. And you have been a wonderful addition. You're posting so many wonderful things about families. And if y'all were on and got to hear Emmalou a couple of weeks ago, she was on the show, and that's what she does. She helps families. I think if I can sum it up, communicate better, help relationships, get through some of the drama that can go on in families. And so I always like to reach out to her. She really, and in the Fun Fearless group, she is just posting some great things. So you will benefit a lot from that. So here's also part of our new thing is that as we have guests, and our guest wasn't able to make it this morning. So this is one of those mornings, and this happens every so often, that something comes up or someone's not well or whatever the case may be. And so since she also isn't able to be here, y'all may just get me for the morning, which, is good too, right? So I love it, whichever way it turns out. I always figured that whatever way it turns out is the way it is supposed to be. So uh, the thing is, so when we have guests on, they each will contribute some type of a gift to our raffle. So at the end of April, the last Tuesday in April, we are, thank you, Emma, love that sweet. Um, we are going to we're going to give away some prizes, one of which will include a $10 Starbucks card. So anytime you are contributing and engaging with us, just even saying hello. So this morning, Emmylou and Karen will be on the list for the gifts. And so each week, as you're on, if you join in the conversation, then your name goes in the for the free gift. So pretty cool, right? This is the first time we've done that. So we thought, well, let's give that a try. So as we go into this morning, so I picked the word gardening today. And I'll tell you why, is because that's what's been on my mind. That we have Dr. Laura, and she is like the premier garden expert. And several of us were in a conversation the other day, and she and Lisa, who is our other expert, Lisa is a major gardener as well. And it's so fun to listen to them talk because they go off on things that I have no idea about. I'm not a gardener. I love fresh fruit and vegetables. So I love it when we go to the farmer's market and you can get the fresh tomatoes and zucchinis and all of those things. I love having that. Bill his dad did have a garden. So they did have a garden in their backyard. So he knows a good bit about it. And I guess in the back, and I did see it. In the back of his house, there was a long lot. In the back, they took this whole big area at the very back of the lot, and they raised big stuff. I mean, I think he even had rutabaga and tomatoes and beans. And his mom did a lot of canning and all that. My grandfather had that, but my mother did not. My mother did not can and do that. She might have done it when she was younger at home, but she did not do it. As we were growing up. And part of that probably was because my dad was in the Air Force, and you're never any place long enough to really get a garden growing. It's a lot of work. For those of y'all who have not moved a lot, from my experience, what I found, because I moved a lot, I think I figured it out 17 times. The first year, especially as a mom, and I appreciate so much my mother from the years of the longest we ever stayed when I was growing up was 3 years. Everything else was like a year, 18 months, something like that. So it takes a year, really, it does. It takes at least a year to get resettled someplace else. And then if you're a mom at home in particular, you're the one that takes care of that. You've got to get the kids in school, and where you're going to do your grocery shopping, and where's the cleaners, and what doctor are you going to go to, and the dentist, all of those things that just are part of your normal life. When you move someplace, you have to resettle and find those and talk to people and get recommendations. So I've just figured it takes at least a year, even when you're pretty good at it, like I am. I now know what I have to, what needs to happen when that happens. So anyway, let's see. Karen says, okay, what does that mean? I've been in my house. So you've been in your house a long time, right, Karen? You haven't moved in a long time. Is that what you're saying? And we have someone that says it's a Facebook user saying, hello, Delinda. Thank you very much. But I don't know who you are. So there is that link that they put in there. Oops, 40 years. Oh my gosh, Karen. I have to tell you, my brain can't even imagine that. 40 years. It's like, oh my gosh. I think it's awesome. I've always thought that would be really cool to be in a house like for a long time. And that's the house my kids grew up. I always thought that would be a lovely thing. And then whenever they came over, that would always be like their house. That would be like coming home. So for my kids, coming home just has to be wherever Bill and I are. So it could be like it is now here in Las Vegas. And, if we wound up moving to Florida, then home would be Florida, whenever they're with us. So, but I think that's awesome. Bill grew up as well in one place. I think he moved like he was 6 months old, and then he grew up in the same house until his father passed away. So anyway, so it's kind of interesting. All right, so I know that we have the Facebook user that said hello. I don't know who you are, so you could even come back on and say, "Hey, Delinda, this is Susie Q, whatever that is." And Karen's in Kansas City area, and hey, Grace, good morning. Thanks for joining us. Grace is also in KC, and Emily's in Utah. So yay, Emily, do you have snow today, or what's your weather like there? I know my sister's in just outside of Park City, and she said that it warmed up a little bit to where she was able to go. She loves to hike and walk, and so she was out and just was so thrilled she could be out hiking a little bit over the weekend. So, and I won't tell y'all that it was 85 here yesterday, which is why I live here. I just have to say. Okay, let's see. Grace says, I moved to my new house after 28 to my new house and have been here for over 2. Okay, Dr. Laura helped me put up a raised bed last year. Oh, very cool. Very cool. So Laura is going to try to join us this morning. She had a conflict that she said she would just be a little bit late. So I'm hoping she will be joining in with us. Oh, no snow in Utah. All right, so as we get to talking, because my gardening knowledge is so limited, I won't have too much to say, although I do have a really cool thing to show you today. I'll show you my current garden, okay? I do have the beginning of a garden. So I think we all can tell how much things are changing right now. The prices on everything have gone up so much. Bill went and got gas in our car this morning at Costco, and it was like $65. Last week or last time he filled up was 50. And it's pretty crazy. And the same thing is happening in the grocery stores. Things are going up. And I don't know if y'all are aware, but it's something to pay attention to, is that even if it has the same price, look at the amount that's there, because some of the things that over the years have changed that were a little bit subtle. I remember whatever it was, maybe 15 years ago, could be a little bit more, when coffee used to buy coffee by the pound. So it was X number of dollars, whatever it was, $7 a pound or $8 a pound, depending on what kind of coffee you like. And then all of a sudden, the containers started shifting, and they went from 16 ounces to 12 ounces, but kept the price the same. Do y'all remember when that happened? Same thing with bacon. You bought a pound of bacon, and then all of a sudden it went down to 12 ounces. And it was just, and I don't remember anything ever advertising is saying that. No, it just kind of happened. And then all of a sudden you were paying the same price for less. And that is happening again. Bill just saw that. He likes to get one of those big, we don't have a QT here, which is the big thing they have in Kansas City. But we do have Circle K's, and the big one is Terribles. Isn't that a crazy name? So it's the family, their last name is Terrible. So they have these terrible gas stations across town. And they have these big Cokes, for $1.98 or something. They're huge. I don't know how many ounces. And then a couple of weeks ago, Bill noticed that bigger one went down. So I'm not sure if it went from maybe 32 ounces or maybe it went from 44. I know Sonic has a 40. Yeah, I think they call it the Route 44, their 44 ounce thing. That is like huge. I don't drink that. But it went from whatever it was, so maybe 44 down to 38 or vice versa. So be watching that. It has nothing to do with gardening. It's just what came into my mind that I thought I would share with you this morning. But as things continue on, and so the same way with our the fruits and vegetables in the grocery store are getting higher, and the truckers. I had a long conversation the other day, like an hour, waiting at the DMV. So all the appointments were taken until May. The car license was expiring the end of March. No apartments available. I went to walk in earlier in the week, and they wouldn't take any walk-ins. By 10 o'clock, they already had too many walk-ins. So they said, come back on Saturday. All day Saturday is walk-in. So I did. So I was there at 7:45 in the morning, and it was actually more than an hour. We were waiting in line outside. Fortunately, it was a beautiful day, and I was having a great conversation. So there was a man that was standing there and this lady, and she and her husband own and run a trucking business. So they have their own 18 wheeler, and he takes, different loads from here to there, cross country, more regional. He doesn't go really across the whole United States, but he does kind of more western half of the country. Anyway, she was talking to me about that, and just the whole gas prices. So as gas prices go up, I never really paid attention to how much that affects everything else. This ripple effect to everything. So everything that we're buying in the stores is going, if it's not yet, it is going to be higher until this changes, until something happens to stop this rise and get things maybe a little bit more stabilized. But in the meantime, our fruits and veggies and stuff like that. So it behooves us to start thinking about what are our other options. So buying from local might be an option, because maybe they're not having to ship things. If you're buying local organic things, now here in Vegas, there's not too many actual farms that do that and people selling, but they do just go over to California because there's a lot of growing and stuff, gardens and bigger than that over in California. So they will drive over here for the various farmers markets here, but just things that we can do. So I'm getting kind of like, I think I want my own garden. So that's why I think I picked up so much on their conversation the other day. So I'm going to ask y'all a question. So if you were going to, first of all, the question is, do you have a garden, or are you going to have a garden? Because I know in Kansas City, that's just starting to happen because y'all still been dealing with some cold and ice and snow kind of things. And I know Laura's in that beginning to prep, but I don't even know what that looks like, what that means, if she's actually digging in the ground right now or getting ready to get ready. So I'm not sure. But do you, or are you going to have a garden this year is the first question. And what is your favorite thing that you're going to plant? Okay. So if the answer is no, then there's nothing you're going to plant, right? But the answer is yes, what is it that you want to plant? So I'm going to be watching the chat box over here, and y'all can tell me what that is. So are you ready to see my first thing of a garden? I'm ready. And it smells wonderful. It is. Ta-da! This is my basil plant, and I have to tell y'all, oh my gosh, that smells so good. I do love basil. And this is the coolest container, and I'm sure it has a fancy name. I just don't know what it is. But my real estate agent actually gave this to us. So she is a great agent, and she sent this to us, I think, last year. So every year, or maybe twice a year, she sends us a special gift just because. So we've been working with her for about 10 years. And so she sent this, and I thought this was so cool. So here's what it does. If I don't spill it all over myself. So this, see this little thing here? This raises, see those roots there, ta-da? This little container here. So you put the water, even I can't mess this up. All right, here we go. Oh, here, that's better. So see the roots? So this container has water in it. And then this, the top one, the black one here, has the dirt and the nutrients in it, so that I do sometimes just do it on the top because it looks like it gets so dry looking on top. So sometimes I'll put it under the faucet and do it, but really it gets all of its nutrients, its water down there. And I could probably take this out and plant it, but it's doing so well right here in the house that I just have it over by a window. And there's my garden, my current garden of basil. Ha ha. Aren't y'all so proud of me? Hey, Laura. Good morning, Laura. You're just in time. Did you see my basil?
Hear.
Let's see if I can hear you.
I can't hear you.
Uh-oh.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes. I don't have you. It doesn't show muted here.
Can you hear? You can hear me?
I can. But you can't hear me?
I can't hear you. Okay. I'm going to try and go. I'm going to come back.
Okay. Okay. This is the exciting part of having live and technology, right? Okay, so let's see. Oh, Emma Lou, look at that. We already have blackberries and strawberries. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to go back here. I've got to scroll down. Oh, y'all, this is fun. Okay, so Karen, raised bed on the deck with herbs. Yay, cool. Emma Lou, we have a, let's see, I can actually put these in here. Okay, raised bed on the deck. Uh, we have a garden and we will plant vegetables. So, what vegetable are you going to plant? Oh, peas. Okay, you already answered the question. And let's see here. We have blackberries and strawberries. Okay, so that's a question. So I'm going to tell you, we ordered 2 raised bed things that are on wheels. Okay, so we're doing the lazy person way, I guess, but one that I think I can manage. So there's 2, and I got it. I got the idea from great friend here in town, Terry Beatty. So Terry, if you come on and listen, hers were so cool. I was at her house the other day, and she had these. Uh, uh, it's about 5 feet long, and she already had some things planted. She had a couple lettuce, and they were already starting to grow, and a couple of other things. And I got so motivated. I thought I could do that. And she's back. Oh, okay. Yeah, I did. It didn't ring. Okay, now can you hear me? Can
Yes.
you hear me now?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes. All right. Good. So anyway, so I saw. So I went over to Terry's house, and she had this. So I came home and I told Bill. I said, "Okay, now because I thought about buying one of those garden things that you have inside, and you do them by water, hydro garden.
A tower. Uh-huh.
Yeah, the tower. And I for years I've thought of that for a couple of years. I thought that would be so cool, but they're pretty pricey. And so I thought, well, so I didn't do anything. And so after I went to Terry's, I came home and I told Bill, I think take a look at this. This is so cool. So we ordered 2 of these beds, and they'll be delivered this week. Aren't you proud of me, Laura?
I'm very proud of you. I'm impressed. Wait, and of course I missed half the show. What are you going to grow?
Well, I'm just getting to that. So, but let's go over here. So Emmylou has strawberries and blackberries. So remind me, I want to ask you a question about that, Laura. And she has swill chard. What in the world is that?
Swiss chard. That looks like a typo.
Oh, gotcha. And Grace says, I'm planting lettuce, chives, and herbs right now, tomatoes and beans later. Because you're working with her, right?
I did, but she's doing great. So that's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. So I started the show, Laura, telling them about that we were in this conversation, and I got I've been kind of motivated, but when I saw Terry's, and she had just on Sunday she had gone and they bought their things and she planted some stuff. And then already when I was at her house 4 or 5 days later, some things were already starting to bloom. I mean, coming up. And I thought, that's pretty exciting. So, but the other thing that I was so confused, so you can spend time. So some of y'all may be totally novice like me. And so Lisa and Laura were talking about microgreens. And it's like, finally, I had to say, what in the world is a microgreen? I didn't even know what it was. So Laura,
yes,
for everybody else's education, what is a microgreen?
I'll simplify it. It's basically, I refer to them as like a sprout. It's basically, you take seeds, you take different types of seeds and you sprout it. And when it gets about an inch high, then you cut that off. There is more nutrition in those little sprouts than really if you waited for example, broccoli is a big one for the broccoli to grow. It's like super nutritious. Oh. So yeah. And they're super easy.
Okay. Or are they bitter or?
It's kind of like putting the alfalfa sprouts on your salad. It's that kind of, I'm probably not the one to ask because I eat weird stuff. So taste doesn't bother me as much.
Oh, so you've refined your taste, right?
I've refined my taste. I'm a foodie, so I will try anything. But yeah, they're super easy to grow and it's quick. It's a quick turnaround on having something grow. So yeah, but it's a super nutritious plant. They are these little guys. So
I went after the conversation that we had the other day. So I was talking to Bill. So he automatically goes to YouTube for everything, like a lot of people do. I don't tend to do that, and I don't know why, but he does. And so he found this video of this guy who had a whole bed, it was a raised bed. I guess that's what you call it, so you don't have to bend over and lay on the ground to plant. So he had a raised bed, and the whole thing, and it was, well, I'm holding my arms out. It looked like it was maybe 4 feet long, 4x4, something like that. And that whole bed was these microgreens. And he had, and he talked about how radish, and I think you mentioned that the other day, that radishes grow really fast. And so those little sprouts come up. So if you cut the little sprouts off, does the vegetable keep growing under the ground? Do these re-sprout again, or you just cut them one time and they're gone?
I've never, believe it or not, I haven't had time to do it, but I do believe they grow back. Lisa probably would know. Yeah, I have never tried them, but I would guess they would if they still have their root structure. Yeah.
Yeah, I wondered about that. So he had this whole bunch of things. I don't like, for instance, I don't like anything very bitter. So I don't like arugula. I just hate arugula in my salad because it just is
You're
bitter.
probably not a kale person either?
No. So sometimes I do have a soup that I love at Olive Garden, a soup tostata, I think it's called, something like that. And it has kale in it, but it's not, the whole thing is not kale. It has little pieces of kale with some sausage and potatoes. It's really wonderful. And I've tried even kale chips. I really wasn't too wild about those either.
They're okay. Yeah. I've done them before with my own kale. They're okay. I mean, when we're used to chips in a different way. Yeah. It's an acquired taste. But yeah, I usually mix my kale with other, I grow the kale and the arugula. I'll mix it in the salad, or sometimes I will do a straight kale salad, but the way I eat it is I put a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of lemon juice, and it complements the bitter part of the kale. I love it. It's, but I also like more of a sour kind of taste.
You make that because lemon would just make me taste more bitter. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm not a big lemon person. Well, there is reason for that, and we don't have time to go into that. There'd be a conversation maybe for you and I. But in general, anything, my body doesn't do well with very acidic things like lemon juice and vinegar. I just can hardly stand
it.
It just doesn't work in my body very well. So, okay. So I was thinking about trying strawberries. So would strawberries work? Do they take over everything? Could I put it in half of one of my beds that I'm going to have? How does that work, Laura?
They'll spread. It also depends on how many plants you want. How big is your garden bed going to be?
So I have 2 of them, and they're about 5 feet long by whatever, 2 or 3 feet.
Okay.
Probably 2 feet.
How deep are they? Are they 18 inches deep, 2 feet deep?
They would not be 2 feet because they've got the automatic watering under the bottom.
Ooh.
So you it's got a thing where you put the water in the bottom, and then the bed is on top of that. So I don't know how deep it is. I haven't gotten it yet, so I don't know.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean it's dependent on, and I could send you some plans. It's dependent on what you want to grow. I mean, are you focusing? I saw blackberries and strawberries. Emily was talking about that. Are you thinking just strawberries and lettuce, or what are you thinking as far as what you want to grow?
Well, my husband loves peppers. He loves yellow, red peppers. So he definitely wants that. I was thinking lettuce, if lettuce is easy, because I do eat lots of salads. It'd be kind of cool to have I've never had my own lettuce that I grew in a salad. So I think that would be kind of fun.
Yes. Well, lettuce is fun because it is easy. And you'll notice right off the bat that it will last longer than the lettuce you get at the store.
Really? Oh, okay. Cool.
Yep.
So I can do some lettuce, and Bill will do a tomato. Because of the lectin, and maybe if you're growing it yourself, it doesn't do that. But tomatoes, the lectin that's in tomatoes, again, that's an issue physically that I don't do well. So he will have at least a tomato plant because he loves tomatoes.
Like a little cherry tomato plant, that kind of the little guys, maybe.
Maybe he likes the bigger ones better, but I guess the garden
Okay.
may not be big enough to handle a bigger.
You could get it in there. You could probably put it on one end of one of the gardens. You could probably, and you'll probably, well, depending on the type of tomato, you can actually trellis it too. And I can work with you on that one, on different types to have it grow up the trellis. So then it's easy. You just have to pick it off the trellis. You don't have to bend over. So.
Well, I know that bending over is a good thing, and I can still bend over.
That's good.
But down my hands and knees and digging in the dirt. I'm going to start the easy way first, and if I wind up loving it, I can always expand.
You're going to have to post pictures. We need to see pictures, or at least send pictures to me, and then I'll post them.
Karen asked, "Is it too early to plant herbs?"
No, I don't think so. We just got to keep crossing our fingers that we don't have a freak snowstorm. No, it should be okay. Yeah. It should be okay. I actually just, and they're not herbs. I just did kale and spinach the other day because we're right at that point. But yeah, you can plant them. They won't grow until it warms up. If they don't come up, then it's not warm enough. But I think we're getting to a point where we're having enough warm days here in Kansas City that they'll start sprouting. I don't know if that was an answer.
Probably.
Yes.
And then, like I was saying, and did you see, you were coming on and off, did you see my plant?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so it smells really yummy. So I think I'll plant some basil outside as well. And I love fresh mint, but mint really
mint is invasive. Mint is invasive. You need to keep that in a pot, like separate from all of the other friends. You got to keep them by themselves.
Oh, because they want to take over.
Take over. Yep. And like within weeks, like you'll be like, okay, yeah.
Okay, good to know. But the strawberries I can plant in the bed.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. And they'll kind of vine around. It depends on how many plants you want to do in there. Do you have a lot of critters around?
Well, what kind of critters?
I don't
birds, critters.
I was like, do you get bunnies down there? I have no clue.
Well, I would think it'd be hard for them to get up that maybe they could, but no, I've never seen a bunny. And what's funny is we live, even though it is Vegas, there are housing areas like ours that have trees, and we have these couple of big trees right up. Matter of fact, our house, it feels like we're in a tree house because where it is, when I look out, I see the top of the trees. The bottom of the trees are down below where our
oh wow, okay.
So it is like being in a tree house. But I've never seen a squirrel. Lots of birds. I've never seen a squirrel in Kansas City. Squirrels are like crazy.
Oh, they're as bad as the bunnies.
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't know what critter might be.
Okay. So. Well, it's good though if you haven't seen bunnies or squirrels. Maybe you won't have that. That would be the only thing because both bunnies and squirrels love strawberries. But if you don't have them, I think you'll be okay. And you're going to put your bed. It will be in the sunlight, right? 6 to 8 hours of sunlight. Okay.
Yes. So it'll have morning sun probably up until about 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Then it'll still have some, but so that's good. It needs that much sun. This is so exciting, you guys. I'll take pictures when we get them and then when we first get it planted.
Well, your adventure in growing. That's awesome. Yay.
I know. You've been my inspiration. You and Lisa, I have to say. So I did want to ask y'all, last week the word was leadership. And did anybody have an experience or something that you noticed this week that had to do with our word of the week last week? We said that each week we would come back and talk about, did you have an experience or something that had to do with that word? So those of y'all who are on, I think most of y'all of you were on last week that I'm seeing on right now. If you had any kind of experience where you realized that you were a leader when you hadn't maybe noticed it before, or that, I don't know what that would be, but if you do, I'd love to see you post. And then next week, when we come on, we'll kind of finish up with the garden. Did anybody decide to go ahead and try? But this was the coolest thing. This thing So Laura, what is this called? I mean, does it have a name? Because see, like they'd have the pot and the water is in the bottom, and all I do is have to fill the pot with the water in the bottom, and that's what makes it grow. Does it have a
Well,
name for this kind of thing?
well, that plant is actually root bound. You might want to transplant it into a larger pot with dirt.
Maybe I could put that in my new garden
Yes, that
to
might
put
work.
outside. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That yeah, because the roots have grown through. It's ready to go. So, in a bigger spot.
Oh,
So,
okay. So either
but
put it in a bigger pot, or I could just plant it in my new raised
I would
one.
plant it in your new raised bed. That would be perfect. So, so
So
yeah,
So Emily said, I feel like serving others is a form of leadership. Yes, I think so too, Amalu. What do you think about that, Laura? I see you shaking your
yeah,
head. So
yeah. When you see leaders out in the world, what do? They serve others. They always put others before themselves. I mean, that you really do see that a lot with true
yeah, and
leadership.
I think those that aren't really the leaders. I mean, they may be in a position of leadership, but maybe they're not really leading, because that can happen too. So
Correct.
yeah, I think you're right, Emily. That's for sure. Anybody else want to make a comment about that? And also, last week we made a mention that I'm not going to be. I've now expanded the show to 8:10. So I'm always like so rushing right at the top of the hour. I was like, oh no, we're here. So we've given ourselves permission to go to 8. Well, in my time, 8:10 or 10 after the hour. So,
Okay.
but we're getting close to that, and this has been fun. One garden tip for us, Laura. I think we should talk about this again sometime because this kind of
Oh,
fun.
definitely one garden tip. Well, and I know there's people from all over. I mean, plants need water and sunshine. Always check your soil before you water, though. Stick your finger in the ground, and if it's damp 2 to 3 inches down, then don't water. I don't know how it's going to be for you guys in Vegas because of the arid heat. It might dry out a lot faster than here.
Probably.
Yeah. But your plant will tell you, obviously, like your basil, if it droops, you got to water it. If it turns yellow, that might be too much water. I mean, those are those little kinds of things.
Oh, so watch for the signs.
Yes.
So I think you have 3 things you always say about true with planting and life, right?
And life, and that's setup, timing, and consistency. So you have to set your plants up like need to put them in dirt and give them fertilizer and water, and then timing. You have to make sure you're putting them, like for us, we wouldn't plant our basil plants right now because it's too cold. So the timing of basil in Kansas City is probably in a month. And then consistently checking on your plants, checking for bugs, making sure they're well watered. And yeah, and those are for successful gardening as well as life.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think you've hit on a magic little formula there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna Laura is in the process of putting together a cool little course for people like me for beginning new gardeners, and I'm excited when it comes out. It's in the process, so I'm just giving them a little advance notice. Our group gets a little advance notice.
Yes. And you're also going to be helping people too with how they present themselves out in the business world with networking.
Yes.
I'm not going to give it away. I'm trying to figure out how not to give it away.
Yeah. So I'd say if you're a little nervous and you never know what to say when somebody asks you the question, what do you do? I'm going to have a course on that, on how to help you know how to clarify your message. So we're in the process of working on some things together. And so I'm not going to talk about gardening, though. Just let me tell you.
Okay.
I'm going to be reading her book.
Yeah. And I will let you handle what do you do? I garden.
And that's what's exciting because, as we each do what we enjoy or we feel we can contribute, then everybody wins, right? So
right.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Exactly. Yep.
All right. Well, my friends, thank you so much for joining us today. And remember that our word of the week is gardening. So kind of think about that this week. And if you decide you're going to garden, and think about what it is you want to do and how to do and all of that. And Dr. Laura, I'm not sure how long it's been since you posted your info in the chat box, but why don't you put that in there?
Okay.
Just so people can follow you. And I know you put a lot out there as far as helping
I don't even
people
know.
with their gardening.
Mhm.
Can you see how to do that?
No, I don't, to be honest, because I'm
Okay.
always just sitting here reading things.
Yeah. So if not, once we are over, you can go back in, and
Yeah,
do it.
and I'll be I'm going to post on Fun Fearless Female, because actually it ties right into what you were talking about today, because I was talking about springtime and a spring mindset.
All right. I love that. Yay.
So
All right. I love it. Thank you. Okay, everybody. Remember that life is not a matter of chance. It is a matter of choice. So go out there this week and make it a great week, because it is your choice. Bye now. Thanks so much for being here. Take care.